Girlfriend's last wife killed him, shot him in his head, and then cut his pieces of his body.
Man, it's sad though, man. How can you just chop somebody up like that?
Now, 30-year-old Ciara Sutton stands charged with murder, accused of shooting her live-in boyfriend, Stephen Coleman, in the head while he was sleeping, and then chopping his body into pieces with a machete and dumping parts of his body into the dumpsters at her apartment complex.
Time up there from the before he even got the key. You know what I'm saying? I watched him get the key and watched him sign the paper for it. And it was a big joy to him because it was like he accomplished something.
Acted like she knew nothing about anything. She was trying to call him. She hadn't heard from him. No response.
Still hard to believe, it really is. Because I look at her, she's a young girl. She's pretty in the face. You just don't see it. You don't see it in her.
This is the story of Stephen Coleman. Most people in his world knew him as Slim DeDon. He was born on October 13, 1984, in New Orleans, Louisiana. He was forced to leave after Hurricane Katrina displaced him and thousands of others, and he eventually landed in Baytown, Texas, where he built himself a life from scratch. He made music every chance he got, over 300 songs written and memorized, every single one of them. People who knew him said he never needed a page or a phone to perform. He had it all up here.
Ask your favorite, the actor's favorite, the facts and statements.
His YouTube following was real and growing, and the people who listened to him then and still listen now will tell you the same thing. The man could rap.
White, the whole key, yeah. You must be tired of your life. Provoke me, nigga. I got killers wild on ice that don't sleep. I got close and close to the die when I write. My soul bleed, nigga. I done cried 28 grams in OC. Emotionless, feelings for my daughter about as close it gets. Praying that no nigga ever cross her inappropriate. Letter to my princess. Your father is your closest friend. I'ma die for you. Swimming water to my stroking ends. I provide for you. Be your diary when you on the vent. Now give me 5 sugar. Your daddy flies up.
He had a daughter named Anaya, and everyone who knew Stephen knew she was his whole world.
I love boo 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 boo.
And what else do you want to tell them, Anaya?
I am 6 and I love funny jokes. Funny.
Now you're 6. What is your daddy's name?
Slim.
And what else? What's his real name?
Real name's Coleman.
Yeah, what's the first name?
First name is Slim.
Girl.
Coleman.
Coleman. Slim Coleman. What is your name?
Coleman and Naya.
And when is Anaya's birthday?
May 26th. My name is
Now that is a man whose whole world is sitting right in front of him. Everyone around him said the same thing. He called Anaya his everything, showed up for her, and documented every moment with her because he wanted to. Before we get too deep, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you find value in these discussions. He rented a 1-bedroom apartment at the Briarwood Village complex on James Bowie Drive in Baytown, and at some point, he let someone move in with him. Her name was Ciara Sutton. 30 years old, a veterinary technician, she had a 10-year-old daughter named Trinity and no prior criminal record. She had told Stephen she was having family problems and had nowhere to go. He let her move in. His friends started noticing things almost immediately. One of his closest friends, Elisa de los Santos, described what she was seeing as a love-hate relationship. And Dominique Clark, another close friend, remembered Stephen as someone he genuinely looked up to.
You know, I looked up to him and admired him in so many ways, and it was just like, yeah. You know, he was older than me, so I got to call him my big brother.
Clark described Ciara in 3 words. He said she had the mind of a bad spirit.
Devil sent, you know. That's the mind of a bad spirit. You know, that's not a normal mind. That's not a mind of God. That's not one of God's children.
Stephen wanted out. Multiple people confirmed this. He wanted to leave, but according to those same friends, Ciara was not willing to let that happen. He had told his friends directly, "If anything ever happens to me, if I go missing, if something goes wrong, Ciara did it." A neighbor reported seeing a physical confrontation between Stephen and Ciara in the parking lot of their complex.
Like in the middle of the parking lot, kind of, and he had her pinned down.
Pinned down on the ground, what was he doing?
He had a belt around her neck.
This relationship had problems on both sides, and the people around them saw it. On the night of August 16th, 2017, Stephen came home from work, got into another argument with Ciara, and went to sleep. He did not make it through the night. In the days after August 16th, Ciara allegedly purchased supplies from a Walmart on Garth Road, using Stephen's own credit card. Surveillance cameras captured a woman matching Ciara's description at Walmart on August 17th, a day after Stephen was last seen alive. His remains were then allegedly wrapped and distributed across dumpsters at the Briarwood Village complex and at other locations around Baytown. Those dumpsters ran on a regular collection schedule, and their contents were transported to the Chambers County landfill. Ciara was banking on him never being found, and she almost got away with it. 2 days after Stephen was last seen, Ciara walked into the Baytown Police Department and filed a missing persons report. She told officers Stephen had left the apartment around 10:30 p.m. on August 16th to go look for his daughter and had not come back. She said he was not answering his phone, and she pointed out that both of his vehicles were still parked at the complex. Police opened an investigation. Hurricane Harvey was coming, but before it arrived, on August 22nd, a worker at the Chambers County landfill was on a routine shift when he found something in the trash. The remains belonged to an adult male. Investigators could not immediately confirm who he was, but they had a missing persons report for a 32-year-old man from Baytown who had not been seen since August 16th. And the timeline lined up. Investigators were connecting the landfill discovery to Stephen's disappearance when Harvey hit. Police had scheduled a follow-up interview with her. She agreed to come in. She never showed up, and she stopped answering her phone completely. Police executed a search warrant for the apartment at Briarwood Village on August 24th. The apartment was mostly empty. Furniture had been removed, but evidence remained throughout the space. Investigators found evidence in the bedroom, the bathroom, the kitchen, and inside Ciara's Jeep. DNA samples were taken from the apartment to compare against the remains found at the landfill. Results were still pending. Neighbors also told reporters that in the days after Stephen disappeared, they saw Ciara clearing out the apartment in the middle of the night, moving furniture with the help of other men, and allegedly trying to sell some of Stephen's belongings to people in the complex. Ciara had already crossed state lines. She ended up in Metairie, Louisiana, just outside New Orleans, the city Stephen had originally come from. She got to Louisiana and could not keep it to herself. She allegedly told her best friend what she had done the morning after it happened. Then, in Louisiana, she allegedly confided in her brother's girlfriend. According to the people who heard these conversations, she was calm, no distress, no guilt. She allegedly explained that she had no choice but to do what she did because Stephen was too heavy to move in one piece. Those same people went to the police. Investigators received a tip that Ciara was in Louisiana and coordinated with local authorities and the U.S. Marshal's Office to locate her. On September 14, 2017, they found her. On that same day, the Harris County District Attorney's Office formally accepted a murder charge against Ciara Alexis Sutton. She waived her extradition rights and was transferred to Harris County Jail in Texas.
To follow a developing story from Baytown, a woman is under arrest accused of killing her boyfriend and dismembering his body with a machete. He was last seen at his apartment on James Bowie Drive back in August. Channel 2's Bill Spencer joins us live from Baytown tonight with this story. Bill?
Jonathan, we're joining you live from right in front of the Briarwood Village Apartments, where Ciara Alexis Sutton is accused of shooting her boyfriend to death in the middle of the night while he was sleeping. But that is not all of it. According to court documents obtained by Channel 2 Investigates, she then hacked his body to pieces using a machete and then distributed those pieces to dumpsters inside that complex. What Baytown police say happened at the top of these stairs in apartment 302 is enough to chill your soul.
Girlfriend's wife killed him, shot him in his head, and then cut his pieces of his body.
Man, it's sad though, man. How can you just chop somebody up like that.
Now, 30-year-old Ciara Alexis Sutton stands charged with murder, accused of shooting her live-in boyfriend, Stephen Coleman, in the head while he was sleeping, and then chopping his body into pieces with a machete and dumping parts of his body into the dumpsters at her apartment complex. Neighbors say the couple had been seen fighting several times before.
They were like in the middle of the parking lot, kind of, and he had her pinned down.
Pinned down on the ground. What was he doing?
He had a belt around her neck.
But investigators say on August 16th, Stephen Coleman suddenly disappeared. Several days later, Donald Wooten says he spoke to Ciara Sutton directly and asked her what had happened to her boyfriend.
I asked her about him, and she seemed kind of shocked. She goes, "Why are you asking me that?" I said, "Well, I heard that he was missing for a while." And she kind of carried on like she didn't know anything about it.
Now, Baytown police have discovered the torso of a man found at a Chambers County landfill. They've discovered traces of blood on the bedroom floor, and they've interviewed several witnesses who say Ciara Sutton admitted to them she killed her boyfriend after an argument and then cut up his body because she said she could never carry it in one piece because it was just too heavy to lift.
Now, days after Stephen Coleman disappeared, neighbors tell me they saw Ciara Sutton in the middle of the night cleaning out his apartment, taking out all of the furniture with a couple of other men. She even tried to sell some of that furniture to some of her neighbors. Tonight, she sits behind bars charged with murder. Live in Baytown, Bill Spencer, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
Bill, thank you.
Tonight we are learning new details in a gruesome murder investigation. A woman is accused of shooting her boyfriend to death and then using a machete to dismember him. Just hours ago, Baytown police released new information in the case. Our Andy Sirota was there and joins us live now from Baytown. Andy.
Hi, Bill. Ciara Sutton is the one who first reported her boyfriend missing, but investigators say shortly after that, she stopped cooperating with them and wouldn't even return their phone calls. Investigators telling us tonight if they hadn't found the torso believed to be Coleman's at that landfill before Harvey hit, it most likely would have been impossible to find after the storm because of all the garbage and debris that's been sent to that landfill. Ciara Sutton remains behind bars tonight in a Jefferson Parish, Louisiana jail awaiting extradition. Investigators have talked to Sutton since her arrest. They say she gave them information that put her in Stephen Coleman's apartment at the time of his murder.
Uncaring, no remorse. That's the best way I can describe it.
Police say Sutton shot Coleman while he was sleeping after they had an argument. They say she used a machete to dismember his body because he was too heavy to carry and then wrapped his body parts in a sheet before placing them in multiple dumpsters at the apartment complex. A torso was found in a Chambers County landfill on August 22nd, 4 days after police say Sutton reported her boyfriend missing. They have not yet positively ID'd the remains as Coleman. Police say Sutton, who was arrested at an apartment complex in Metairie, Louisiana, confided in multiple people who gave statements to police that Sutton committed the crime, but she has not confessed to murdering her boyfriend.
We don't know that she necessarily had an accomplice. We did have some information that there may have been some other people in the area or at the apartment during this time frame.
Tonight, it's unclear when Sutton will be extradited to Baytown. Police tell us they have also spoken with Coleman's mother. To say that she is heartbroken and devastated would be an understatement. Live in Baytown tonight, Andy Sirota, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
Lieutenant Doris was asked one simple question. What was her demeanor like? Uncaring, no remorse. A reporter asked him directly, in all his years on the job, had he ever seen anything like this in Baytown?
Her demeanor like? Uncaring, no remorse. That's the best way I can describe it.
Lieutenant, all of your years doing this, have you had a case, especially here in Baytown, where you've had someone kill their loved one and chop them up and put them in the dumpster?
No, this is a first for me. It's a first for every one of my detectives, to be honest with you. An event like this, fortunately, we haven't had anything like this happen in my 18-plus years that I've been with the Baytown Police Department.
Ciara never officially confessed to investigators. During her interview, she gave information that placed her in the apartment at the time. She stopped there. Everything else came from the people she had spoken to in Louisiana, who came forward and gave statements to police. The case moved forward to trial. While that was happening, Corla Coleman was living with something no courtroom could address. She has gone to that grave every single month since, and she has never stopped. Then came the verdict, and when the judge handed down the sentence, people had a lot to say about it. In February 2019, Ciara Alexis Sutton stood before Judge Deshaun Jones in Harris County's 181st District Court. She was convicted of murder. The sentence was 45 years in prison. 45 fell in the middle of that range. She must serve at least half before becoming eligible for parole, which puts a potential release date around 2040, roughly 22 years after her arrest. Without parole, her projected release date is September 14, 2062. Medium security, 45 years. And there were charges on top of that which never made it to court. Under Texas law, interfering with evidence in a case like this can be charged as a second-degree felony, carrying 2 to 20 years. That charge was never filed. Child endangerment was also never pursued, despite the fact that Trinity, Ciara's 10-year-old daughter, was present in that apartment during the relevant period. Police never formally interviewed her. That charge was never brought either. Prosecutors kept it to the murder charge. Stephen's family had a different view of what accountability should have looked like. Corla Coleman raised a question that was never officially answered. The apartment at Briarwood Village had an open floor plan with no walls separating the main living areas. Not one neighbor reported hearing anything unusual on the night of August 16th.
5 years in August. I don't miss a day, a month, go and bring flowers. I had to bury what they found.
Police maintained the account as it was presented. That question was never publicly resolved. Neighbor Donald Wooten remembered running into Ciara after Stephen went missing and asking her directly about him.
I asked her about him, and she seemed kind of shocked. She goes, "Why are you asking me that?" I said, "Well, I heard that he was missing for a while." And she kind of carried on like she didn't know anything about it.
She called him Slim. That was just her dad. Stephen Coleman was 32 years old. He worked every day. He made music every chance he got, and he never missed a call home to his mother. He left behind 300 songs, friends who carried his warnings, a mother who never stopped showing up, and a daughter with videos of her father that nobody can take away. Ciara Alexis Sutton is currently serving her sentence at the Christina Melton Crane Unit in Gatesville, Texas. To Corla, to Anaya, and to everyone who carried Stephen with them, our condolences. Rest in peace, Stephen Coleman. I hope these stories help you recognize warning signs and encourage you to seek help or offer support before it's too late.
The way to the head of the fucking class of greatness. Go ask your favorite, the actor's favorite is facts and statements. I give a f about a cap and gown and congratulations. Don't agitate me, don't aggravate me, I'm bad with patience. I pop a Xanax to free my mind, emancipate it. If you gon' rap it, be real, homie, don't fabricate it. And half of y'all wonder why we never collaborated.